Howdy, folks. This is Rosadap, and I am back for another episode of Brocrafting Age of Engineering. But before we get started with that, take care of some housekeeping here. So today, I don't know if you heard that. That was me popping the cap on a bottle of Modelo Negro. Um, it's not a microbrew. It's nothing fancy or special. You can get this at Walmart or your favorite package store. Um, it is brewed and bottled by Cerveceria Modelo Nava, Mexico. It is a Mexican beer. It's the Negro part of it is it's a darker beer. The regular Modelo is a um, Pilsner-esque. I don't know what it's actually called, pale ale, something along those lines. Uh, Possibly similar to like maybe a Corona, although I don't like Corona. I do like Modelo regular. I like the Negra better. I like the darker beer a little bit better. And that's what I'm drinking today. Um, we bought that for Memorial Day here just recently passed. And I've still got some left, so uh, that's why I'm drinking that because it's delicious and there it exists. So, yeah, with that, as you see, I've got a whole line of things to do here today. Um, I lost my sign for this one. This is going to be a mining laser, but it's not for mining. It's actually for something else, as you'll see later in the episode. So kind of like last time, I had to do this in backwards order. So the empower is the goal that we have. Excuse me. And we get there by making actually no, the empower is ready. That is our first step. But sturdy casing, which is the item needed to progress to the farm age, as you can see, the sturdy casing here is made through the empower, which is here. In order to get to the sturdy casing, we well, actually, the sturdy casing is fairly straightforward. However, before we do that, what I want to do is go to the garden close. The reason why is because as we got set up in last episode, we got the water wheel going, getting us some power. However, we're going to switch, well, not switch, we're going to add to this process by getting oil generation going. As you can see here, there are four types of oil. There's canola oil, which you get from an oil press, I believe is what it's called. Yes, canola press. So you put your canola into the press, and um, out of that you get the canola oil, which is good. I mean, it's okay. Uh, let's see here. See if it gives us any actual numbers on it. It doesn't look like it gives us the actual numbers, but uh, it does okay. You can burn that in the oil generator, um, which is somewhere right there, the oil generator. So we're going to build an oil generator, and we're going to press canola, which we could do just that and be fine and start generating some oil. However, if you ferment it first using the fermenter from Actually Additions, you can get to just regular oil. Well, once you get regular oil, you can then drop a canola. You can drop the crystallized canola oil seed into the oil, and it will turn it into this uh, crystallized oil. And you crystallize the seed. I think we talked about this last time by putting it in front of the atomic reconstructor, just a regular old seed. Zap it with a laser, it turns into crystallized. You can then use that crystallized seed into regular oil, turn it into crystallized oil. Well, once you get that, which is more efficient, it gives you more power output per bucket than the oil, which is better than the canola oil. Well, if you then take an empowered seed, which you take a crystallized seed and power it with four regular seeds and it turns into an empowered seed, Drop that into the crystallized oil, you get empowered oil, which gives you the best. And we're actually going to set up some automation. However, we will not get to that today. I know that for a fact. I know how long it takes. I've done the process before, and that may be as many as 2 episodes away while we get all this, because I'm not even sure I'm going to get to everything today, because there's a lot of stuff to get to the garden cloche. I don't think I'm going to have that set up before the end of this episode. However, the garden cloche, like I mentioned last episode, is very expensive. Um, Resource-wise, time-wise, lots of things going on. It doesn't look like much. It's a lantern, which is really simple. Just some glass, some glowstone, and some iron plates. More glass and some treated wood, plus a farmer. No big deal, right? Except that the farmer takes a little more stuff. You got to have 4 blocks of anoric crystals, which is 4 iron blocks, which have been atomically constructed. You got to have 2 empowered canola, which requires the empowerer to be finished. You got 2 iron casings, which we've done the iron casings before. They're not terribly expensive, but they're not trivial either. You got to get the advanced alloy. You have to have 8 iron plates, plus the half a stack of or a quarter stack of uh, macerated coal, plus some steel. So it's not inconsequential, but you got to have 2 of those, plus an advanced greenhouse. So once again, we got to get an advanced greenhouse. Well, to do that, it takes a diamond. So you put a diamond in a scientific calculator, divide it by iron, you get 4 of these weakened diamonds. Not too terrible. We can do that right now. However, this is the big one here. We've already got the basic greenhouse. Not that expensive. I can build another one, or I can use the one I've got outside. However, the large tanzanite is where it starts getting expensive, because to do that, you have to have an algorithm separator. You cannot make the large tanzanite without the algorithm separator. Now, you can do it several ways. You can create large directly with a block, or you can create these smaller ones from just a single lapis, but you got to do it 9 times, so it's actually cheaper, or some tanzanite wood. It's actually cheaper just to do the whole block and get the large one that we need anyway. But that's not all there is to it, because in order to get the algorithm separator, we have to be able to create the empowered diamantine crystal. So, in order to get the diamantine crystal, we've got to do benitoite, which you just find in the nether, create some ash, which is burning peat, which we've already done, fertilizer, which requires us to find an apatite block and mix it with some sand, and then the lithium dust. However, the lithium dust creates more problems, because the only recipe for lithium dust is these tiny piles of lithium dust. In order to do that, you have to have a thermal centrifuge. Okay, so we got to build another machine. Thermal centrifuge. Hey, look, not too hard except for the mining laser. So we got to build a mining laser, which it requires the advanced circuit, which we only just got the ability to do. So, with that being said, that's why we're doing the mining laser. We're going to do it first after we do the empowerer, because I don't know if I want to jump straight to age 4 yet. We're going to spend a little time in age 3 and not just blow through it, because there's some things that we can do with the advanced circuit other than just do a garden cloche. So we may hang around. I don't know that we're going to get that far anyway, so maybe a moot point this episode. However, we will do a mining laser in order to make the thermal centrifuge, in order to make the algorithm separator, in order to make the advanced greenhouse, so that we can then do the garden cloche. And that's going to take a while. Probably all of this episode, if we even get there, plus next episode, plus maybe a third one. NYC Cooper is not with us again. He is taking on more and more extracurricular activities to bring in the money, because he is more broke today than he was last time, because he still has to spend money. He still has a baby. Mrs. NYC Cooper is also working, and that's a relatively new engagement for her as well. So they're working on it, and as a result, they have like 0 time, because he's taking on as many side projects as he can that will pay him, because he doesn't have a steady job, because he can't take a steady job, because he's getting ready to open a business. So while we wait on the government to uh, do their bureaucratic slowness so that he can actually move forward in the brewery. He has to find side jobs to make money. And as a result, not here. So, sorry about that. It's just me once again. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into the power. So, last episode we talked about the setup, and I figured out, because I read the manual, that you have the Empower in the center, and then 3 blocks away in each of the cardinal directions, you have a display stand. Now, as we talked about before, each display stand has to be powered. And as you see, I have that set up here. The actual Empower itself does not. And I'm actually not sure, once I get the Empower placed down, if these torches are going to interfere with the setup. It may not like it. I may take them down. I don't know. But for now, we're going to leave them. You see that each display stand holds 800,000 RF each, to give us a total of 32 or 3.2 million RF stored, which is good. However, most recipes are in the like 4 million to 10 million range, and that's the ones that we know of, that I know of so far. Once we get up on it into higher techs and higher tiers of techs, that may grow exponentially. The problem is these are low voltage wire relays, which limit the transfer rate to, I think it's 256 RF per tick, which takes a really long time to get up to 800,000. So once we do the first recipe that we need, which we're actually going to have to do here, no, 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 somewhere here, there is a recipe that we've got to have. It actually may be, I'm not sure where it is. Mining laser, maybe? Yes, the mining laser. So the very first thing we're going to make in this chain of items requires 2 different recipes to turn lapis lazuli block into into the empowered version of that. I can't remember what it's called. And then the block of redstone into the empowered version of that. We actually only need 4 of these and 2 of these, but a block requires 1 each of these, but a single dust also requires 1 each of these. So by doing it a block, you save 8 of these resources each. So these are the 4 that go on the display stands. This goes in the power in the middle. It zaps with magical beams of light, and you get the empowered version of it. We have to do that twice. Both of these recipes require 4 million each. So what's currently in these display stands is not even enough for the 1 recipe. So once it starts, it's going to drain all the way down, and then it's going to continue just to pull from our 4 million capacitor slowly using these low voltage wires, which I need to upgrade to either medium voltage or high voltage so that we get faster throughput. However, we're going to blow through all of this with at least the second recipe, so we have to actually wait on that to get us up to finish the last one. That's going to take some time. So I will probably start that and then go on to other things while we wait, even before we get to the other things we're going to do, simply because that's the first step on the mining laser. But with that being said, let's go ahead and do this Empower. Let me go get rid of a few things in my inventory so I can pick everything up at once. So get rid of a door, get rid of a sign. Sorry while you watch me do some housekeeping. I apologize. Blocks, this is not where they go, but I'm going to put them here. Put that there. I think that's good enough for now. So, the Empowered's not terrible. Do have to have some Restonia crystals. I have the extra display stand. Let's just go ahead and grab all the stuff here. Some of the things I went ahead and did, the compressed cobalt, you've seen me do that before. You make that with a cobalt, which you make with dust, with a flint. We've done that before. I went ahead and made the plates, the advanced alloy plates. You've seen me do that before. Last episode, we finally got the coal dust from our basic greenhouse. And you've seen me atomically reconstruct iron and redstone to get the Inori crystals and the Restonia. So, I'm not going to rehash all that stuff. We are going to make the Empowerer, And the first step is getting these iron casings. I actually could have already done this because you've seen me do this before, but oh well, I didn't. And make 2 of those. Make 2 of those. So the big one that we had to do was for the double battery. So this one we need the purified coal and the power cube. And I think I recollected everything I needed just to make a new power cube. I think. So maybe not. Could have swore I went ahead and grabbed everything I needed. You know what? I may have accidentally turned some of those into Restonia crystals and they didn't need it. So we'll see. So I need my calculators. Where are those? Here. So this and this. So for this guy, you just need that. That's the enriched coal, and then I want to say it's got to have purified coal is, yes, the enriched gold ingot, which I have not done yet, which I need to do this. Some of the stuff I could have done because you've seen me do it before, but I didn't. Sorry. We told you we weren't very good at this, and now you know we weren't lying. We really aren't very good at this. So, go that. I missed something. Something else has to happen. Maybe a reinforced stone? Enriched coal. Cool. I did that already. Oh, I had it in the wrong thing. It's got to be in the scientific calculator. That's why. Nope. Wrong thing. There we go. So now I can put this in here. We get our energy module. That's the only thing that you guys haven't seen yet. So now you know how to do it. So now we got to do a regular battery, which we need 2 of these actually. So we're going to do 1, and then we're going to do another one. And I don't have a block I need. Where is that block? Should have one sitting around somewhere. If not, shame on me. Oh, maybe over here in this box. Yeah, there we go. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4, get that. And then we've got to make 2 of these. Advanced coils. So now we should be able to make that guy, which is the... Why isn't that showing up? Oh, yeah, that was weird. Single battery, and then make the double battery. You just do it again. And then from there, we can make our Empower. Yay! Oh, so the trophy issue. Several episodes ago, I was wondering what in the world happened to my trophy. Why didn't it work? Well, it turns out that NYC Cooper achieved the trophy for age 1. I never did. And it did not recognize my calculator because it did not have this flag set. So once I went and did that one immediately showed up by itself. So now we have age 3. So NYC Cooper is going to have to go pick up and drop a calculator, and then pick up and drop the Empower to get his 2 trophies. I did not know we did not share those flags. We don't. So there you go. Alright, so we're going to place this bad boy down right there, and it looks like it linked up. So we're going to go ahead and start this one. It doesn't really matter which one we do first. We do have to do one thing. We do have to atomically reconstruct this nether quartz and turn it into a prismarine shard. That went into my bag, undoubtedly. Yep. So, You put the thing you're empowering in the center. I don't think that worked. Uh, nope. That's not what it does. It's supposed to be floating on it. Try left clicking. That's not good. It may be these torches. I don't think that's right. That doesn't seem the correct, because it's supposed to look like that. Yep, it did not. Oh, I know what's wrong. Heh, doy. So this also has to be atomically reconstructed first before it will be accepted in the empower, because it's in the wrong form. You got to have a palace crystal. Now, there we go. Zzz, magical laser beams of light. So you can see that's going to draw down. It's going to get to 3.2 million and run out of power, so it's got to do 800,000 slowly at 256 RF per tick out. So that'll take a while. So with that being said, we can go ahead and start making some of the other pieces. We don't have everything we need for the laser, but we can go ahead and start putting together a few of the independent pieces. So I've already got 4 of those. I've already got that. I've already got that. So all we need is the advanced coil, which takes that. So we can't really do anything else here. So the thermal centrifuge may be the same way. Maybe, yeah, all we need is mining laser for that, because it's relatively simple. Algorithm separator. This is another recipe that we got to do, which is going to take another 4 million, so even longer. Yeah, I already built the power cubes. You actually need 6 power cubes, so you'll notice that it takes 2 power cubes here, but then it takes 2 stone separators, which each take 2, so you got to have 6 total. Again, talking about the total expense of a simple garden cloche, it's not that simple, and I already made the basic greenhouse, so we don't have to do that. I've got nothing else to do. We're about 22 minutes. So, with that being said, did I make the fertilizer over here? Where was it? Here. I did make the fertilizer. So I have a single player world that I'm kind of tracking along so I can do some experimentation before I get on camera. And one of the problems that I'm having in that world is I cannot find apatite to save my life. So the fertilizer, it's a simple recipe. It's just 1 piece of apatite. I'm assuming I'm saying that right, and 2 pieces of sand. And if you look up apatite, it tells you it's at Y 56, 55, 56 to 58, 59. I've dug, and it's at the exact same percentage as diamond. It's just at a higher level. I've been digging at this level for lots of time. I've spent several hours yesterday just digging around. Never found any apatite. So the other world, I haven't actually gotten this far yet. With that being said, one of the things that I want to do is actually hook up the thermal centrifuge and the ore washing plant over here. I talked about the very first episode, I think, when NYC Cooper and us were setting up our original kitchen, that I probably wouldn't do that because it's a fair bit of work for not a lot of additional efficiency on your resource gathering. But I've got to make the thermal centrifuge anyway. The ore washing plant is actually fairly inexpensive. And I got to thinking about it, and with a little bit of automation using these transfer pipes and these transfer nodes with some filters in them, I can actually dump my my unprocessed ores over here directly into a hopper with a chest sitting on top of it, and it will automatically go through the entire process of macerating, ore washing, and then thermally centrifuging it. I don't know if that's a word, whatever, I don't care. And pop out the other side all of the extra processed dusts that give me all the additional resources. And you can look. Um, so if you take just basic crushed silver, which you get from the macerator, it gives you one thing of crushed silver ore plus some tiny piles of silver. And you get some stone dust. Stone dust is used for some other things. Same thing with the lead. You get lead plus sulfur instead of regular lead. Tin, you get tin and tin. Uranium and lead. Copper and copper. Gold and gold. So you get a little bit of additional resources, iron and iron. However, once you take these and put them into the thermal centrifuge, uh, you actually get random other things. So in tin, you get tin plus iron. And in, let's say, iron, you get iron plus gold. And in silver, you get, well, just silver. Apparently, you don't get anything extra out of that one. But gold gives you silver. Uh, Silver gives you lead. Plus, there's some other things you can do with it. Iron gives you gold. So you get additional other resources out of it. The only thing about it is you have to also set up fluid automation because the ore washing plant takes a full bucket of water for every operation. So you'll see over here, uh, this one crushed silver to get here, you have to have a bucket of water in this. So you will have to set up some automation or stand there, you know, filling this up with buckets of water with a infinite water source. Kind of annoying and slow going, but it will automate some stuff, which is nice, and you get some additional resources. Now, one of the things that I thought about showing you guys, and I guess I will since we've got some time and um, nothing better to do, is my mining process. Everybody kind of has their own algorithm for the way they do things. Um, I did not come up with this. I stole this from somebody else, and I don't remember the guy's name. He has a YouTube video somewhere. Um, but it's called the X Mine. It's very efficient as far as it goes, and it prevents you from having to walk long ways by digging a main tunnel and then branching like a branch tunnel. Um, so kind of the traditional way is you dig straight in one direction for however long, 100 meters, 200 meters, 500 meters, whatever it is, and then you just do branches off to the side. Well, that's great until you got to come back. It takes you 5 minutes just to get from the end of your branch mine back to your center. Well, the X mine kind of solves that. It allows you to travel great distances linearly without going out from your starting point. You can kind of see on my map up there. I'll pull up. Whoa, that's close. So you kind of see how I do this. So you start at a center, and you've got four main branches going in each direction, and you just kind of zigzag back across in increasing lengths, and they mesh with the direction that's 90 degrees out from it. So you always have three blocks in between every tunnel section, with the exception of right here where you actually dig a window so you can kind of keep track of how far you're going. I like this mine because as you can see, linear feet of revealed stone is increasingly more and more, but I only have to travel back to the center and back here. Uh, I get an exponentially large, or maybe linearly larger amount of revealed stone each iteration, but I only go, 6 meters farther each time. And I can kind of show you here because I haven't started yet. It can be complicated when you first start, and you can do it with just a pickaxe. But when I upgraded to the hammer, I decided that I got rid of my bronze to repair my hammer, so I don't know how long it's going to last. But you can think of it in sets of three and sets of four. Um, get some stone out here so I can cover this up. So this is going to be the solid wall. You can do three, you can do two. Two reveals more of the rock, but statistically speaking, so few ore veins or resource veins are going to exist in this one by one or one by two block that's hidden without going left or right. Um, Rarely. Very few resource veins exist in a one by single plane. Most of them, do a two by two or branch out like with coal. It goes all different directions. So you're not going to miss much. Um, and so you get in each branch of the mine, you get 9 stone revealed for one mining operation, which is fairly efficient. And you don't lose much out, but it moves so much faster than doing a 2 by. Um, so that's the wall, and so our actual mine itself is going to be another 3. And I always put down a torch in the center of that. So this is going to be our walkway going left and right. You can go either direction. I always start out going to the right, um, just because reasons. So once you start going sideways, you always want to go 6 past um, where you're going to end up starting your mine. I'm going to close this off. And I'm kind of rambling at this point because I'm trying to get done with this 30-minute episode. But so that's going to be the wall again. And then this is going to be the return path of this one that I'm about to do. Hey, I found a cave entrance. So this is going to be our pathway, a 3 by path, then a 3 by wall, then another 3 by path. This is going to be the center of the return path. So we're going to end up putting a wall here. Well, this is not going to be a wall, but these will be walls. But you do that so that when you come back, you will come into your open main trunk line. So when you do your side paths, the first you're going to do 4 blocks in, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to put a torch. And my thing just broke. And you're going to do that 3 times. So it's a 3 by 4 deep, and that's going to be every time. So the first one you do is going to be 12. The second one you do is going to be 24. When you do after that, it's going to be 36. So it's going to be multiples of 12 every time, but you just do 3 sets of 4 past however far you went the time before. And you do that, you keep track of that. Where am I going? By putting a little window where you finish. And I'll show you that process here in just a second. Let me repair my tool. So I did learn something I haven't spent a lot of time on is the material properties of the tinker's tools. If you put an ardite handle or tough binding or whatever it is onto your tool for mining, it actually repairs itself for every block of stone that you dig. So if, like on my single player world, I have a ardite handle with a copper face, I think a cobalt face, a copper face, and a bronze head. And what that allows me to do is as I'm digging this way, as I'm digging, it repairs itself fairly efficiently, and it lasts a pretty good time when you have a lot of stone. If you run into other things other than stone, andesite, granite, whatever it is, you don't get that benefit. But the vast volume of stone that's down here means it lasts a little bit longer. So that's two. And the first time you just have to count because you don't have the window to kind of keep track of. You'll see. At this point, I'm going to turn sideways. I'm going to go 3 for the thickness of the wall. Put a torch there. Go 3 more for the return shaft. And then right here, I'm going to dig a little 1x2 window. It's 3 deep, and put a torch there. So that way, when I do my next branch that comes this way, when I hit this torch, I go 12 more. So 3 more sets of 4 once this is revealed on that branch. So then here, you go into, put a torch, and that seems weird, but if you remember, we did 4 in, which means the torch here, 1, 2, 3, this would be the 4th block. So that one's a little weird, but it's fairly easy to remember the first one. You just put 2 in, and what that does is that perfectly lines it up so that when you get back, you got 1, 2, 3, and then you have your opening. So we'll do the same thing on this side. We'll go in 3 sets of 4. I hear a bad guy. I always put the torches on the inside of the wall, closest to the center. That way, once you get deep, and you can see that when you come down here, once you get deep in here and you have these really long, or you start to get these long branches going in, you know, when you come back, you're like, okay, which way do I go? You always turn towards the torches. That will take you back to the center. That's the way I do it. Same way with spelunking. I think me and NYC Cooper were talking about that in one of the episodes. If when you're going into a cave, you always put them on the right. When you're trying to find your way out of the cave, you just keep them on your left to find your exit. Same basic principle. Only this time, instead of all on the right or on the left, you keep them all on the inside wall with respect to your center room. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 2. 1. Okay. Now, normally you wouldn't see this. This is my next branch over, but I built it through the middle of an open cavity. So I'm kind of anal retentive about this, so I will actually completely build out this wall. So 2, 3, 4. The third torch goes there, and then there will be a wall here. I'll actually completely build this out because I don't want these open areas. And that's just me. You guys probably think I'm weird. Whatever. I'm okay with that. Then I'm going to do 3 here. 1, 2, put the torch. This will be 3. And then the return branch, 1, 2, 3, and then build my window for the next set of iterations that come this direction. That's my window. Now I'm going to build up what would otherwise be the wall here. And I want to do one more. I know this is probably monotonous for most of you, but I want to do one more and show you how the windows work when you get ready to come back through. Those windows can be very important once you get kind of deep into it, because it's real easy to lose count past 3, especially when you run into veins. You're trying to collect resources as you go, or if you're looking for something very specific and you find it and you stop to gather it, it can very quickly make you lose your place. But if you only have to remember 3, it's pretty simple. And I actually forgot to do what I told you guys should be done, which is go ahead and go forward with your main shaft here, an extra iteration. So 1, 2, 3 for the wall, and then 1, 2, 3 for the next, for the return, and then put your thing down. So I would have broken through right there, and I wouldn't have to wonder. If you forget to do it, you can. Many times I've gone way past the center on the return path because I didn't open this up, and I just kept on going, completely forgetting where I was, what I was doing. And again, I'm going to build this out because I don't like having these holes in here. I need some food soon. I'm starting to get hungry. I just don't like having all this hold here. So I will build this on out for my return trip of my 3rd iteration. 1, 2, 3. That's going to be my return hole. So I don't need that guy anymore. And this lighting algorithm is designed very specifically just to prevent any type of mob spawning. I don't know that this is the minimum, but it's also good to use as a counting reference, a counting marker. That also works out mostly evenly all the way across, and prevents mob spawning. So that's the idea behind the torches where they go. So with the 2nd iteration, you'll see the window has a good use because once you get into the higher distances, you don't have to count until you get to the window because you know the window is there somewhere. So you just keep going in sets of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and then here, boom, hey, look, you found a window. You've already got that one placed. Once you get to the window, you know you only have 3 sets of 4 left. So it's a good way, good quick reference to know when you're done and you need to turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. The lamp, and so that's 3 sets of 4. So at this point, I'll make the turn. Do 1, 2, 3 for the wall, and we'll do 1, 2, 3 for the return portion, and then we'll dig our window for the next iteration, which the next iteration will be 24 in, but I don't have to count 6 sets of 4. I just do to the window and then do one more set of 3 4-bys. 1, 2. Don't forget to place your first torch on the return bend at 2, and then from there, you just do 4 at a time. 2, 3, 4. And then I'm out of torches. I don't have anything to make torches with, but you get the basic idea, and that's the X-Mine. Like I said, it's super efficient because, as you can see going through, you reveal an enormous amount of stone using this method. You can see how much of these 5 levels I've opened up to visual inspection, and you don't miss a lot in doing this. Once you go in all 4 directions and you fill in these various quadrants, you pretty much reveal everything except that center 1 by in each of the walls, which again, a lot of times you'll see that anyway. Let's see if I can see an example down here. I don't see an example anywhere. But suffice it to say that, when you're walking through here, you're revealing these walls. If you see, you see a 1 sticking through, there's a good chance that it came and it continues on into the middle. Well, you were able to see that resource anyway. Looks like I've already finished all these out. But, as you can see, that's a 2x. So had that been shifted 2 over, the middle one would have been hidden, but this one right here would have been revealed. So you end up getting most of them. And you don't have to travel forever to get out of it. Once you run out of space or your tool breaks or, you need to come back and do something, you're not miles away from where you got to return. It's a relatively short return trip while revealing an enormous amount of resources. So I wanted to just use the rest of the episode because I had to waste some time showing you guys that. Like I said, it wasn't my idea. I don't remember the name of the YouTuber that developed that, and he, in his video, if you'll look up the X Mine, I think is what it's called, he even gives credit to someone else that he just took that idea and modified it slightly. Same basic principle with a single, with like a pickaxe. I do a 1x3 hole going through, so 1, 2, 3, and that's the main shaft and the side shafts. And the counts are a little different. If anybody's interested, leave some comments or something, and maybe one day I'll go back and show how to do the single version as opposed to the hammer version. And with that being said, way over. So I spent that extra time and ended up spending too much time. So with that, I'm going to end this episode, and when we come back next time, I'll have the other one done. It's the same basic process that one used. You just use these 4 things, so an ardite ingot, a red garnet, a resonating redstone crystal, and a red rose with a block of Restonia. So you have to atomically reconstruct this first before it goes in the center, just like the lapis. But it's the same basic process. You put these 4 on the 4 display stands, put that in the middle, magical laser beams of light. 4 million RF later, you get the empowered Restonia crystal. And then I'm going to go ahead and do one more. This guy. Same thing. You need this. You need the ash. You need the fertilizer. You need the benatite. Plus you need the lithium, which again, you need 9 of the tiny. Each of the tiny requires 2, so you'll need 18 nether quartz thermally centrifuged, which you can then put on the display stands. You need to atomically reconstruct a diamond into the diamantine crystal, and then that goes in the middle, and you empower it. Rinse, repeat. The thermal centrifuge is fairly straightforward. I think I'm going to go ahead and build that guy because there's not much to it other than the mining laser. And I'll go ahead and get all that done. And so next time we can actually get the garden close set up, and I'll have everything ready to start the automating process for getting oil generation and the power going. With that, my name is Rasadap, and this has been Age of Engineering, episode 11 with the Brocrafters. Talk to you later.